I'm simply wonderfully hungry. I hope y'all have a healthy appetite. I can see y'all have a healthy appetite too. So wonderful to know with our healthy appetite, which is a hunger that we're not having a heart attack at the moment. Having a heart attack isn't right, actually. It's terrible medically. So this lets us know we're not having something terrible medically. We just proved medically it must be the opposite of terrible, right? And what's the opposite of terrible?
Not terrible.
That's not really an antonym.
Unterrible.
No, that's not a word. And not terrible is not really a word either. It's two words.
That's two words.
Yeah, well, what's a word that's the opposite? I mean, in your child, yeah, antonym. You learn that in school, right? Librarian word. The antonym of terrible. What's the opposite? What's that? What?
Opposite of terrible.
Yeah, antonym. What's that?
Terrific.
Terrific? The opposite of horrible maybe is terrific. No, wonderful, right?
Wonderful.
Also there. All right, you guys didn't pick up on the wonderful means. You guys never heard anyone say they're wonderfully hungry before, have you?
Never.
All right, but you've heard of healthy appetite. And by y'all eating, you'll have a healthy appetite, right? And that phrase, healthy appetite, is a true phrase, isn't it? All right, so think on this. We all agree is true. And we've heard of before, healthy appetite. First part of it, being healthy. Isn't that
Right.
wonderful, being healthy?
Right.
And the second part of it, appetite. Isn't that the same thing as hunger?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you have it, healthy appetite. When we really think about it, it's the same thing as wonderfully hungry. Right? Healthy is wonderful, appetite, same thing as hunger. So that's why if I'm striking up a conversation with people I've never met before, if I have a healthy appetite, I make a point of saying I'm wonderfully hungry because it's provably true. See, there are a lot of things out there we believe is true, but if someone asked us to prove it, we'd be hard-pressed to prove it.
Right.
This is one of those two things we can't. Someone say, hey, I don't believe that, prove it. And we go, healthy appetite, isn't that true? Everyone knows it's true and agrees it's true, and we break it down for them. Healthy is wonderful, appetite, same thing as hunger. And they'll have to admit, wow, you did prove it. It's true. And I've seen you eating. You got a healthy appetite, so you're wonderfully hungry too. So try saying you're wonderfully hungry. So how are you?
Wonderfully hungry.
All right. But you kind of said it hesitantly, right? You have to think about it, right?
Yeah.
All right, it's fine. It means you and I none of us want to be hungry though. Started when we were small children. Cried about it. That's what me and small children cry about a situation. Don't like or want that situation. We're still that way. Deep down inside in our heart of hearts, we still do not like nor want to be hungry. And I should know. I'm a heart doctor, so I should know what's deep down inside of the heart. In case you're wondering why I asked about your heart too. It's right for a heart doctor to ask about the heart, right? So it's right for me all around to ask. But see, it's also true what they say. We believe what we want in our heart to believe. Because in our heart we still don't want this. We can't ever believe it's wonderful to be able to say it casually without the thinking. Like you had the thinking or you hesitated, right? And I'm animated, so I'm thinking about this too. You know, this conversation you and I are having, it's not for me, it's not mindless conversation. I'm moving around, right? But this brings up important need. If we're not saying this you never heard of before, that we're wonderfully hungry, we're going to be terribly hungry instead. Now, most people know terribly hungry as hungry and angry scrunched together. You laugh it, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is how, if we're not saying we're wonderfully hungry, we're going to be hangry. And if we're hangry, we can't, even we're a heart doctor and strongly know better, we can't help ourselves to werewolf down food in large, excessive amounts as a drug to stop being hangry. So we might even be essentially addicted to that excess food, using it as a drug. Yeah, and that's how we can stop. If we're hangry, we can't. This is the only healthy way to stop that without the unhealthy way of using food in large amounts, which leads to the terrible medical pre-existing conditions. Those all come from being hangry. So that even though no better, a heart doctor would end up with those same pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
So what are they? High cholesterol goes through the roof, real high.
Right now,
Blood pressure ends up being really high. Blood sugar high, maybe even diabetes,
How do you get rid of it?
and heart disease. We got to stop being hangry in the only healthy way, not using food as excess amounts of the drug, because that's the reason. If your cholesterol's high, blood pressure's high, it's because
blood pressure's not high. Just
all right, your cholesterol's high. It's because you've been hangry, and why you've been hangry, you haven't known that we need to be always saying we're wonderfully hungry to overcome this.
That's good advice. Thank you.
Yeah. But you never heard this. You should Google this. You know how on social media